then the
Yeah.
book is going to be a read that gets you through the understanding of how to pull it together and how to actually get it off the ground. And it's based on more than 10 years, millions upon millions of dollars in sales, and millions of units moved through this platform to build it into a real business model, not a side hustle or a hobby.
Yeah. Welcome to the Next Level Income Show, where it's our goal to take your income, your investments, and your life to the next level. I'm your host, Chris Larson. If you haven't yet, get a copy of our book for free at our website, nextlevelincome.com. That's www.nextlevelincome.com. Just click on the book link, and I'll even send you a copy if you put your address in. On today's episode, we have my friend Neil Twa. Neil is the visionary CEO and co-founder of Voltage, an elite Amazon growth consultancy, enabling tens of millions in annual sales across multiple channels. With a track record dating back to 2012, Neil and his award-winning team and clients have collectively sold over $100 million in Amazon sales. Today, they specialize in launching, scaling, and successfully exiting brands within the eight-figure range. Voltage's unique skin in the game approach offers personalized one-on-one coaching and mentoring, guaranteeing revenue growth and enabling newcomers to achieve $100,000 in net new profits within 12 months. Emphasizing a strategic focus on the end goal, they redefine the art of business building. And today, Neil's going to share more of this as well as his new book. Neil, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Chris. Good to be here, my man.
Yeah, you are one of the elite few that has come back on as a repeat guest on the show here. And yeah, we were just checking. Yeah, man, 2.5 years ago, episode 71. So if you want to check it out, check out episode 71. You can go back through our archives and learn a little bit more about Neil. But we wanted to invite you back because you just came out with a new book. We really look forward to sharing that here with the audience and what they're going to learn. And I'm going to share some of my thoughts about why you should look into what Neil's doing. But if listeners aren't going to go back and listen to that episode just yet, Neil, please share a little bit more than I did about your background in the intro here and what you do at Voltage Digital Marketing.
Full 30 seconds. I'll try to keep it to the most interesting things that people might want to hear, and stuff that's not relevant to maybe anybody but my mom. So long story short, I left my corporate soulless gig in 2007, set out to do a series of companies, eventually ended up in affiliate marketing and online, figured out I had a really good aptitude for buying, selling traffic, which led me to lead generation, and some of that lead generation and online activity made some companies, very successful. And in that process of how to drive leads and traffic and acquisitions online, I discovered a couple products that I was selling for some companies. And I thought, hey, you know what? I should just own the end. If I can drive the traffic, own the product. So that set me on the e-commerce journey in about 2010. By 2012, I had launched my first product on Amazon. It took us a couple of years, actually about into 2011, 2012-ish, and launched my first physical product tests in just a simple arbitrage, flip your way to wealth idea just to get started, because nobody really knew what the heck was going on. And this was so like wild, wild west that it was kind of just what could you, and how could I grab 10, 20, 60 of them just to see if it worked. And it started to work, and it became kind of a bug. And I was like, man, I have to figure this out. Systems, process, background, building companies in many different ways. And so I'm like, okay, I want to figure out how to automate this to some degree and make it somewhat passive and or if at all possible, make it almost automated income. And so we did. We learned the processes and the systems that Amazon has in place. And, fast forward 10 years, that thing has turned into an unbelievable juggernaut with like 8% of the market share now.
Wait, say it again. What percent?
So the last graph I just saw a couple of days ago was they were like 37.8% market share, and very behind is Walmart with like 7%. Wow. So the top three other major online retailers don't even make up the majority share of what Amazon has in the US.com marketplace. So it's the juggernaut of traffic and products delivered in 30 seconds or less. So you buy them and they're delivered in 2 days or less to your doorstep. So it's this amazing, incredible machine, which has opportunities and pros and cons, as in all ways. I like to keep it pretty, every business solves troubles, and there's Amazon's world too. And there's opportunities, and we talk about some of that in the book. But at the end of the day, we've been doing this for quite a long time, more than 10 years. When others went off other things, we stayed in the world of Amazon and e-commerce and continue to adapt and thrive and grow and build brands and exit brands. And now we're acquiring brands. And so have decided to, once upon a time here, about a year ago, to write some book and take some people along for the ride. So it's not just me. I've got about 15 contributors in the book that are talking about our, the playbook, the business model, and its opportunities. Yeah.
I love it. So let's back up and lay a little bit of groundwork for the
Sure.
audience so they can better understand, what we're talking about. So
Absolutely.
and I remember you and I talked about this in the first episode. I was talking about how, I go on Amazon, I
Mhm.
order my favorite protein bars and I get them,
Yeah.
but they don't really come from Amazon. So
Interesting.
Amazon, if you don't mind breaking it down. So Amazon has their own products, but then they also have basically a marketplace. Do you mind sharing a little bit how that landscape works?
Yeah, so Amazon sells some of its own products. It's like less
Yep.
than 1%. In fact, they're shutting down most of their brands because
Really?
of some challenges they've running them and getting into trouble with them, and some bad actors inside of their business that have done some things to help damage their brand, which has led to
Oh,
them having
like
some trouble with
what?
the FTC. Well, bad acting basically paid inside the company on the down low
Yep.
to make it harder for certain brands to compete with other brands who paid them to take down the other from the inside. So
Interesting. Wow.
there are
Wow.
problems in every business like that. Of course, you
Yeah.
could globally accuse Amazon of being, the behemoth problem, stealing products and doing all these bad things. But
Yeah.
in actuality, in every business, there's bad actors.
Sure.
Is it their policy to do some of these things? No. But instead, what
Gotcha.
happens is you use the ecosystem and you pros and cons. It is a 20
Hmm.
billion plus dollar infrastructure that is now has the sixth largest logistics company in the world. Okay, with planes and ship,
Yeah.
automotives and trucks and all this stuff,
Yeah.
moving something to your door in 2 days or less. We simply leverage that infrastructure instead of building our own warehouses and employing, people.
Yeah.
We leverage that to move the products in what's called fulfilled by Amazon, FBA. And that,
FBA.
yep, the FBA was actually the logistics company they purchased around 2008ish, maybe just a little bit earlier, if memory serves me correctly, and to actually help them go from books into physical products beyond books, like
Yeah.
selling all things to all people in 30 seconds or less. And for the first time since they started, they've actually got a deal with Hyundai that is going to Hyundai selling their cars on Amazon this year. So
Wow.
that's an
That's
interesting
wild.
change.
Yeah.
But it's this big infrastructure of logistics
Yeah.
and warehousing and trucks that basically take my products that we send into Amazon. And when someone buys that, thinking it's maybe Amazon, they don't know sometimes the difference, and is delivered to your doorstep like you got. I don't have to carry that package or do that. The warehousing,
Right.
logistics, and fulfillment takes care of it for me, which gives me the capability of having a lifestyle by design with these,
Yeah.
setting up what I call the almost automated income infrastructure that doesn't require me to touch, move, or handle those products. And that's one of the biggest benefits of what these economies of scale allow me to do. And I do understand the negative of it because I had a warehouse. I had 22,000 square feet in Utah one time,
Oh,
and
really?
12
Wow.
employees. Yeah. And we were running about 10, 18 foot, 10, 40-foot trucks a week through
Wow.
that warehouse. We removed a lot of product.
Yeah.
So we got rid of all that. And now I've set it up so that you don't need that. And you could do it from 50 acres in the country like I do and homeschool your kids and live off a squirrel powered internet and drive your
we
drive
know,
your
we
life.
know, we know that's not true, but
Oh, it's squirrel powered, dude. I pay a lot of money for those hyper crazy squirrels to get on there. Yeah.
there we
And
go. Yeah, and not everybody knows you like I know you, but
Yeah.
no, look, I think what's amazing is you've put this together, and it allows you, as well as your clients and people that you work with,
Yep.
to live life the way they choose, which is what you're
Yeah.
doing, which I have so
Really,
much
it is
respect
lifestyle
for.
by design.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So your new book, I got it pulled up here on Amazon, is Almost Automated Income with FBA. And as you said before, FBA is fulfilled by Amazon.
Correct.
So what you're, and again, I think there's people listening that they don't even know that Amazon started as just an online bookstore.
Yeah, bookstore.
Yeah, which I certainly remember. And now being this logistics company, as you were saying, you leverage that logistics company.
Correct.
You essentially partner with Amazon, right?
Correct.
Now, okay, so what does that look like? So you say, okay, we're gonna start this business. So walk us through, and if this is in the book, you can walk us through kind of. I know it just came out, by the way, when we're recording this.
Did.
So I have not had a chance to read it. But walk us through what listeners are going to learn, and
Yeah.
and like, why should we even consider this as a potential
Absolutely.
business?
So answering in reverse first, why would you even consider this as a business? You should
Yeah.
the quick market economics of e-commerce. You probably have bought something online, which means you understand
Yep.
to some degree at 30,000 foot, that you can buy a product and have them shipped to your house. So
Yep.
you could go get physical products in the same way from any retail
Yep.
store. This is just another mechanism, right, which
Yeah.
allows it to be moved online. So in full terms, that's what e-commerce actually is. We chose Amazon to take our products to first because their organic traffic system is moving, information on this big little AI system. Everybody's so happy with AI and they're so excited about all the possibilities of artificial intelligence and AI systems right now. They don't recognize that many of they've been using for years and years and years, even decades, are AI driven systems. And Amazon is an AI driven search engine. And it's using billions of data points from buyers to help put product just in time in front of a buyer who will want to buy it in 30 seconds or less. And so we take advantage of that ecosystem to move those products forward. The opportunity with e-commerce is it's growing. Forrester and Bank of America Research published a study that said by 2040, the 65% of current retail shopping, 35% of e-commerce is going to flip. It's going to be 65% e-commerce, 35% retail. So the inversion is happening. Yeah. Whether you're a part of it or not, in terms of the way you make money or take opportunity, you're going to be a part of it because of your life, right?
Yeah.
And we watched it shift in 2019, 2022. We had 10 years of growth in the first quarter of 2020. It just went vertical. 10 years of growth in 3 months. It created a big adoption curve.
Back up, because that's worth underscoring.
It's huge.
So you just said that the growth in Q1 of 2022 was equivalent to 10 years of growth prior. Is that right?
2020. Yeah. That first quarter of 2020, where people were forced to go online because they couldn't go out, created a part of the adoption curve. Okay.
Gotcha.
It became adoption mainstream. Right. It was now a huge jump. And what that also led to, the second important thing is that most people recognize this to some degree now, but mobile purchases on your mobile phone now exceeded desktop purchase for the first time since it came online. And the statistics are around 58.4% of people are now buying something every week because their barrier of entry has changed and their barriers to purchase have changed. So they can just click on their mobile phone. So it's really taken this huge change and that's created huge upside potential for those who are involved and getting involved. It's not too late. Because the growth is going up. So in 2023, we were going to hit about 800 billion in sales in the United States alone and about 6.5 trillion worldwide. Okay. And in terms of certain markets, that's actually still kind of small, big, but still kind of small. So at the end of the day, hit over $1 billion in sales, broke it by about 200 billion in sales, which has allowed us to go through 2023 and into 2024 with this vertical growth, now showing about 1.2 trillion in sales in the United States for the coming year. And believe it or not, folks, you're swiping credit cards to the tune of new records. In the last quarter of 2024, it was the highest sales record for Amazon. So you guys bought more in that year than any year prior. So when people are like, well, industries are going and the market economies are going that way, I will tell you, e-commerce is actually going this way. So many opportunities are still presenting itself. It's just what are the opportunities and when do they present themselves is probably most important to understand. And that is, where do I see this fitting into the picture? Where do I go through the processes of understanding? And that's covered in the book. It's covered in the 5 steps that we take to basically go through a process of identifying the product, identifying the market, identifying activity of selling, identifying how Amazon moves that product to people just in time. And then what we finally call the platinum principle, which is these businesses are worth more in the end than at any time during the business building phase. Now, you being a real estate guy, understand building assets, multifamily, short-term rentals, etc., ultimately is an asset that can churn later on. Okay, so those who are my friends in the real estate really get this because I'm in real estate, but I'm in digital real estate. I'm an asset, but I'm an inventory-based asset, not a home-based asset. So there's a lot of parallels to the way e-com works for those who are in real estate. And so we parallel those brands like multifamily units. You build assets in a digital and physical space with inventory and digital front. And I have an unlimited upside potential of increasing that brand and marketing, so I'm not locked into comparables. I can force my price higher and force my brand to basically whatever the market will bear, and I'm not limited like real estate into certain comparables or market. If I can outproduce, outbrand, and outvalue my product perception above my competitors, I can charge whatever the market will bear for it.
I love that. So, as you were saying for listeners, it's like Zoom, right? Like, not everybody use Zoom, prior to
That is
COVID.
right.
And look, I
That's
actually
right.
used to record most of our podcasts in person, or we at least go to a studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm in my home studio, as are
Right.
you, and
Yep.
it's just wild. It transformed almost instantaneously.
Did
So
so
and
fast.
and that's persisted. Just like Zoom has persisted, the trends on Amazon have persisted.
That's right.
So you walk through those 5 steps, Neil.
Okay.
So if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, like there's a huge opportunity out there.
There is.
I can build a business and do this, but there's all these products. How on earth do you figure out what to sell and like what niche to get into? It
We
seems
call
overwhelming.
it. Yeah. It can feel a little overwhelming, but let's just look
Yeah.
at like something very simple. Then we call the
Yeah.
urban mining hack. Okay, it's all around you. It's
Say
in your
that again. The
environment.
urban.
Yep, urban mining hack. Okay, so we go
Urban
data mining
mining
for
hack.
products that we really have in our home that can create daily profits in an e-commerce model.
Okay.
So the simplest way is for you to pull up your phone.
Okay.
Or go get your wife. She's the one, or your significant other who does a lot more buying in the house. Look at your last 90 days of purchase history on Amazon.
Okay.
What you need to understand is by Amazon's own admission, 60% of the products sold on Amazon.com come from third-party sellers.
Okay.
So extrapolate that math. So for the 10, products I have, I can consider 50 to 60 of the products I purchased most likely in the last 90 days, especially in my house with 5 women and homeschooling in the middle of nowhere. We get 3 to 4 trolls a week in my house. Are products that you can sell online. So the big question is when you realize you can create using just that one thing. And I tell my clients when they first get started in 7 days, create a list of 500 products. Just put them on a list.
500. Wow.
Put them on the more product list. Okay.
Yeah.
First, actually, it's most product list. Then we'll get to the more product list. So the most products I can think of, just start writing it down and going into your life and starting to conditionally look at the environment that you live in, the soccer practice, the dance practice, the kids' school, the play, the band, the pets, everything in your life is a potential product opportunity. And if you're on Amazon, there's a good chance you can sell it on Amazon. So once you understand that one simple little leap, okay, then you understand that there's plenty of product opportunities and to build a really long pipeline of them. So what we really need to get into is the numbers. Like, how do I know that it's going to sell and how do I know that it's going to be profitable? How do I analyze it like 7 and 8 figure sellers?
So you put, so you put that list together.
That big old list.
Sift through that list to figure out what are your winners. So for your clients,
not even that just yet. All we're going to do is put them on a list, and then we're going to look for a pattern. The pattern is I look at those and I start seeing in my own life and products that I've purchased and ideas I can come up with just going around my house, in my life, and my weekly activities with the kids or otherwise.
Yeah.
This list is going to come up with patterns. The patterns are going to be, okay, well, I see there are 15 home and kitchen, 27 outdoor products, and 109, pet products. So what are you going to think about that? What logically can you conclude as you're conditioning yourself to look at these lists? You can condition yourself to start seeing the kinds of products at which you've not only bought, but bought repeatedly or bought variations of those products because of an interest you have or an interest of someone in your life.
Yeah.
Typically a woman 27 to 40 because they buy 80% of all products online. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most statistics.
Yep. So when we get to the end of that, we find my brands and the brands of my clients all target that group because they are just buyers beyond Amazon too, just so we're clear.
Gotcha.
So the end result is now I got to go by the numbers. So as the patterns appear, I take the products in the pattern and I move them into the number.
Got it. No problem. Okay. So you make the list, you figure out the patterns, you move them in, and then, all right. So you got that figured out. Do you have an example of a product that's been very successful?
Absolutely. So we have sold in a couple of different, well, actually more than one brand, but one brand in particular, we sold tens of thousands of units of a doll. It was a stuffed animal. Okay, I said doll first, but it's kind of a pet stuffed animal.
Yeah, and I got a closet full of those downstairs.
Right. Well, if you got young kids, you do.
Are you a high-income business owner or professional earning $200,000-$300,000 or even more a year, but still feel like you're living paycheck to paycheck? Are you comfortable working until you're 65 or 70 to retire, or do you want to achieve financial independence and live life on your own terms? You could join myself and Matt Four and learn how we both became financially dependent in our early 30s. We will teach you how to make, keep, and grow your money, teaching you strategies to maximize your earnings. Keep your income that you've earned through tax strategy and legal structures, and ultimately teach you how to grow it by determining your personal investing strategy, as well as teach you how to analyze investments so you can grow your passive income to the point to live life on your own terms. Our coaching clients reliably do this in 7 years or less. To learn more, check out our coaching program at nextlevelincome.com/coaching. That's nextlevelincome.com/coaching. Yeah.
I had this thing. Okay. Actually, I discovered it when I was up feeding my third daughter. She was up. Mom was tired. We have 4 kids in 4.5 years. So we were tired for basically a decade.
Yeah.
And I took the late shift because I'm a night owl, and I was up feeding the bottle and taking care of the baby. And I ended up flipping the television on, and I'm mindlessly, 4 a.m. feeding a kid with a bottle, trying to stay awake. And up comes this infomercial for a product. And, they got kids products and bad products and, but wait, there's more kind of products continuously. And so up this bottle, comes up this product, and it's this pet seat thing that you put in the car, and you put the seat belt through it, and it's got these little things to rest their head on, and it's really cool. It's like a little dog. They got a little cat. They got a penguin. I'm like, hey, that's actually pretty cool. I should buy one of those. That was my first instinct. I should buy one. But then I remember my conditional training, and it was like, hey, what if I could sell one? So I kind of flipped it on its head for a second and said, hey, what if I could sell one? So I ordered one so I could actually now use it for market research. Okay. I got it. I was like, well, this is a little flimsy. The head feels like it's fallen a little more. It's not built like very good quality. And I gave it to my partner. I said, hey, what do you think about this product? What can we do? A couple of days later, he says, you know what? We can change this just a little bit. We can innovate it. There's no invention. We can just follow what somebody else has sort of done, and we can just innovate a little changes. We can maybe make it a little bit like an anime. We can make the eyes a little different, sort of a different feature, a little bigger headset. We can, because we can make the padding a little different. It'll feel a little stronger and make the, edging and seam. So we went to Amazon and we found their product, and it was like, here are some of the complaints people had. So we just went and we made better versions of it. We innovated some simple changes to the product, and we test launched it. Okay. Just a test market. Not smart enough to tell the market what it wants. We're not Elon Musk, but smart enough to read the data and say, hey, find something someone wants to buy. Number one problem, sales fixes everything, right? Sold 2,000 units in an 8-week period.
Okay.
So we actually blew, our prices were higher. The other company was called Seat Pets. Okay. And they had this infomercial, and we said, hey, they gotta be, spending money on an infomercial. They're on Amazon. Their listings aren't great. We took iPhone pictures and made just a little better listing, and threw those 3 bullet points up and said, hey, here are our feature points, bigger head, looks like an anime, stronger characters, bigger, what are those things called in the front? Not a patch, but where you put your crowns in and stuff on the front of them to hold them in place.
Like a pouch.
Pouch. There you go.
Yeah.
And we made those a little stronger and a little bigger, so people could fit more crowns and more stuff. And they just sold like hotcakes organically. And then we got another 2,000, then another 5,000, and they just kept selling like crazy. And we called ours Belt Buddies. So we came up with a brand that no one had ever heard of, Belt Buddies. And we made a competitor, Seat Pets, and we went and competed with them in the market, and we beat them. So simple things work great, things that are not complicated, innovations, not invention. We just follow what the data in the market says, and then we test it. And this is where we didn't go 8,000 units deep to find out if we could sell it.
Right.
We took a hedge bet and probably recommend doing 2,000 units now. I typically recommend more like a 200 unit test. But we went for the moon and said, hey, you know what? We got to shoot for the moon to see if this will work. And so we went for 2,000 units, and we sold them like crazy. And we sold them organically. And then with no marketing and no ads and no playing around, the system literally showed us how, when a product demand and people want it, Amazon will put it in front of people for you. They will market it. They will push it out. Their engine will get it in front of people, and they'll want to buy it. And the more they want to buy it, the more Amazon wants you to sell more of it. So when you're in line with that engine, when you're riding that wave, it will push you along. So you just need to come up with a simple product idea. We don't sell supplements. Okay. We don't sell electronics. Those are complicated, expensive. And we don't sell t-shirts and clothing because people have high return rates. But then I've pretty much sold everything on Amazon to this point, except for cars. I haven't sold cars on Amazon. Yeah.
Well, now Hyundai's, right? They'll be doing that. So
yeah, Hyundai will do it. I'm sure it's going to have some market opportunity if they present cars in that way, no doubt.
And what's cool, Neil, is, and we talked about this a lot, you teach people how to do this. How does that work?
I teach them how to identify those products in their own life and build a process, and then determine like that, Belt Buddies, that it was profitable. It has to have a minimum of $12 in profit per unit. That's one of the metrics. It has to have a sales velocity that will churn enough, and it has to have enough profit to ensure we can get to growth. Revenues, profits, growth, scale. Okay. and then exit. Those are the pillars.
Yes. So,
Okay.
all right. So, you're actually building, and much like we do, and this is
Yeah,
kind of, I love the value add strategy in real estate,
absolutely.
which for listeners, which you should know this if you're listening to this podcast, but if not, the value add strategy, we buy a piece of property,
Hmm.
we improve it in some way, shape, or form. That may
Improve
be
them. Yeah, exactly.
maybe physical improvements, just like you were
Yep.
talking about improving the product that's out there, and maybe operational improvements on our side.
Hmm.
But we improve net operating income, which allows us to then sell the property at a
Yep.
higher at a higher
That's right.
value.
Buy a
And
property, sell a property.
but what you're outlining, Neil, is basically taking a product that's in demand, innovating, as you mentioned,
Yep.
which is kind of your value add, and then building that business on
Yes.
Amazon, and then exiting. So it's very similar in that
Correct. We cash
strategy.
flow that, and
Yep.
instead of what if I built one product or one piece of real estate, and instead of selling it one
Yeah.
time, what if I could sell it
Right.
10 times? What if I could sell it 100 times? What if I could sell it 500,000 times?
Now, okay, so you mean from a product perspective? Or you mean from a
Yeah, from a
business
product
perspective?
perspective, right?
Yeah.
So a product
Yeah.
begets a revenue stream of
Yep.
repetitive, time and
Yeah.
market will give me repetitive sales in units. Each one
Yeah.
turns into a cash flow revenue stream.
Love that.
Right. So each
Yeah.
time, instead of building something and a product, okay, I build product by product by product into a portfolio that cash flows. Okay. And then
And
from
now
cash
all of
flow,
these products in that portfolio are related.
they're all related: size, shape, variation, accessories. If
Gotcha.
I'm selling to a mom who's
Gotcha.
buying that product, okay, for a child in the car, and
Yep.
she trusts my brand, how many other things is she willing to buy from me?
Interesting. Gotcha.
Right.
And then,
So once I've captured
yeah.
her, I can turn her into many other things too.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
teach people how to do this, build a product, build a
Correct.
portfolio, and then
Yep.
automatically exit that. And then you can continue to do this. Is that true?
You can continue to do it across many brands and products as you can come up with. When we build the products into brands, we build them into growth and scale. It becomes a sellable asset.
Yeah.
You could sell off a brand, or you can
Very
sell
cool.
off the whole company. You can build multiple brands of products within it, have multiple product holdings. You can have, like in real estate, multiple properties that are cash flowing. You can have multiple
Mhm.
brands and products that are cash flowing. Then the whole asset portfolio becomes a saleable asset. That's where Voltage kicks in, because we actually have a first right of refusal with our clients to broker the sale or buy the company if we feel it's a good fit for our investment group. So
So
we
you
have
not only
a
you not only help your clients build the company, you
correct.
help them sell it, or you may even buy it from them at a fair
That is
price.
correct. They have a beginning and A to Z aspect when they work with us. That's correct.
Yeah, I love that. And tell us a little bit more about your book. I bought it. I
Yeah.
bought it a week ago. Like I said, I've been on the road here the past week. I'm looking forward to reading it here.
Yeah, no, I'm looking
Who
forward to
should
hearing your input.
yeah, who should buy the book? And number one bestseller right now. I'm looking at it in internet marketing. But who should buy the book? What are you going to learn in the book? And
Yeah.
then how can people get in touch with you and learn more about how they can actually work with you if they want to, Neil?
Yeah. What I want to show people how is longevity and cash flow in business leads to profit and assets, because these are asset driven business models. And if you have a
Yeah.
real estate mindset, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So as we build these companies, I've got a playbook, and the playbook has been driven through millions of sales of products and, of course, opportunities lost. So there's some learning curve in this that's talked about in the book. And I brought about a compilation of people I've interviewed for the last 3 years and case studies who follow through that playbook, who've been interviewed on my podcast, and we feature them in each of those chapters.
Yeah.
And it is based on my entire playbook. Okay.
Love it.
So as you go through, you'll see the opportunity to learn, of even if you have no experience, this simple plan of action take you through, and the entrepreneurs that have also followed it or have a similar plan that follows our playbook. And that's all giving you these insights, lessons, strategies, part of each of those chapters that build on top. So if you want to learn how to get started and understand at least the 30,000 foot playbook of strategies and some tactic, then the book is going to be a read that gets you through the understanding of how to pull it together and how to actually get it off the ground. And it's based on more than 10 years, millions upon millions of dollars in sales, and millions of units moved through this platform to build it into a real business model, not a side hustle or a hobby. Yeah. And that's in this. And I had the distinct pleasure and honor of one of my friends writing the foreword for the book, Kevin Harrington, who was the original shark from Shark Tank.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. $6 billion in sales online and in the business industry, a titan, if you will. And he wrote the foreword in the book. So I was very honored.
He certainly is a titan. Absolutely. What are some reasonable numbers for somebody that works
Yeah.
with you, Neil. So, we
Yeah.
have a ton of
Reasonable.
people that
Hmm.
are, they listen to this podcast. They want to learn how to make more money, but
Absolutely.
most people want what you and I have. They want time
Yeah.
freedom. They want location freedom. They want the freedom to do what they want,
Yeah.
with their lives. What can somebody expect to kind of generate with the time, and
With
real
reasonable
effort that they
time.
put in? Yeah.
So reasonable for us, we have a model that's
Yeah.
do, something for 3 to 5 years that no one else is
Yeah.
willing to do so you can live like nobody else can after. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
expect 3 to 5 years of business building to opportunity for cash on cash value in here to a 6, 7, or 8 figure business that turns off a minimum of 15 to 20 up to 30% net profit on that business every year. It's expected that my builders are building products that lead to a portfolio that give them the opportunity for every 1 million in sales
Mm-hmm.
to take between $200,000 to $350,000 in profit home every year per every 1 million. So
Gotcha. That's
that's
reasonable.
realistic in this
Yeah.
model, in market, in product development, not the first product or even the second. We're not doing home run, hopium, make money kind of nonsense. We're business building, which means we know that time, energy, attention, and money to develop a cash flowing asset that has a saleable outcome to it, just like real estate or any other
Right.
real business model. So we treat it the same way. Treat it like a business with growth. What is the potential upside? There's obviously, people will fail out. So that's the downside. People will start
Sure.
a business and not realize it's a business, which requires the time, energy, attention, and money. And then there are people who get that, understand it, and with tenacity and grit and perseverance can see 8 figures in less than 5 years. I've had a case study, provable, and by Matt Harward, that got to 5 million in 9 months. Okay, 5 million a month in 9 months. He built a $40 million a year business in the first 12 months. Wow. Results are not typical, folks.
Sure.
I'm just going to tell you what scale and scope of this model looks like. E-commerce itself is an unlimited potential opportunity when brand driven goes fast. If you are listening to this podcast, setting on an iPhone maybe or an Android, and you've bought one or more of those products, and you understand the trick we borrow from retail. Once we lock into we simply sell more of the same products in different variations and packages for our people to become brand connected. You do that correctly, and the upside potential of this is tremendous for those who get involved. Okay. Our goal for each client is in the first 12 months, it's a minimum of 100K in net profits. And we actually know that to closer to 150. So there's a range. And that is just the bare minimum of ROI that I would expect from the first series of products under our 5 playbook that will be accomplished. Can they go faster? Can one take off and then get you into a whole product line? Absolutely. But time and market brings a little bit of luck for every business that stays in market longer. Luck just happens. Certain things occur, market opportunities present themselves, and things go faster. But understand the dedication and time is a component. Mindset's a component of this. But of course, choosing the products, the process, the data, and the metrics are important too. And I can guarantee if you go it alone, it'll take you 3 or 4 years, $500,000 to do it now. But I've got systems and resources and experience that are all outlined in the book for you to take a look at so you can understand why we can actually do it a lot faster.
I love it. So check out episode 71 if you want to learn a little bit more about Neil's background.
Right on.
Where you can get the book on Amazon, obviously.
Yeah. Amazon, almost automated with FBA. It's right there.
Yep. And we'll have a link in the show notes here. I'm putting that in right now so you can get a copy just like I did. And Neil, what's the best way for listeners to get a hold of you directly, Voltage Digital Marketing, if they want to learn more about how they could start one of these businesses themselves?
I got a free training that people can check out. We'll through these 4 or 5 steps in detail over the shoulder. It was part of a Wealth Without Wall Street live inner circle conference that I did that explains everything about time, energy, attention, money, and how to build an asset cash flow driven model. You can go to voltagedm.com. That's voltagedigitalmarketing.com, voltagedm.com, and check that out. It's free to go and investigate. There's also a podcast that Kevin and I did after that you can check out as well, which will go over the overall business, how we approach the as seen on TV for Amazon that we talk about in there. And you guys are more than welcome to Google me too. I've got a short last name. I'm not a short dude, but I got a short last name, and I don't hide on the internet.
So he's not. Neil is not short. I am not you short in person. You've met my family in person.
Yes, sir.
And I was like, wow, Neil, you are bigger in real life So your personality comes through, but your size on camera does not. So yeah, Neil's the man. Check him out. Check out. We'll have all these links in the show notes if you're interested in learning more about this. Neil, always enjoy catching up with you, my friend. Stay warm. It's really cold where you are today, which is why we're both bundled up here a little bit. And hope you've learned something from listening today. Check us out. Neil, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Chris here again. I hope you found this episode valuable. Now, I have one more thing to gift you. We have a page for my coaching clients where you can get a free copy of my book, as well as much more from previous guests on the show. Just check out nextlevelincome.com/coaching to get a free copy of my book, audiobook, and much more. I'll send you a copy of my book and cover all the shipping costs as a thank you for listening to the podcast. Also, please like, share, and take just 90 seconds to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts.